Oh, look at, we have the wrong names.
Uh-oh.
Orale. Come on. Who's running the show? Hey, my friends, it's Andy coming to you live from Orange County, California with my love, Hedia, now with me. Earlier today, you weren't with me.
I know. I traversed the long, treacherous trail between VC and OC. Here I am. Sorry, that was way more explanation than any of you wanted. But there it was.
That was awesome. You want to hear something else will give you a cavity because it's so sweet? When we wake up in the morning and we're separated on the day that we know that we're going to come together, we'll ask each other, what's today? What's today?
I see you day.
The letter I, the letter C, the letter U, day. I see you day. What did you think the first time I wrote that?
I'm so slow on the uptake sometimes. I just don't get common sense euphemisms. I think I overthink just about everything. So it's like, what? You went to the hospital? And it's like, hello, no, I see you. And then you put an eyeball. And I was like, oh, right.
I see you day.
I see you day.
Oh my gosh. I'm running. Nice. Oh, running it. Oh, you're running it. You're running the show. You are the one who caused our names to be backwards.
Or I think that, or she's burning racism. I can't tell. I don't know which one that. Carol, you got to tell us.
No, it has to do with the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Hi, y'all. Again, twice in one day. All right, so let's get to this right away. Okay. I really want to just come on. This may either be a very short one or every time I say it,
I doubt it.
It always turns out to be long.
Yes.
But I really wanted to get your perspective, and I hope this is okay.
Okay.
Because I was talking to you last night about this. We got to burn this racism card, the wokeism that's going on. And I know that all of you know this. I know that all of you said that we're getting really tired of this racism stuff because it's affecting everybody, even the people that used to be considered the woke people. Like Obama, they went to name a school after him, and they said, "No, he's the most, he's the president that's deported most Mexicans than any other president." And so in California, they said, "We're not naming a school after him." I think it was in L.A. or I don't know, San Francisco, somewhere like that. We're not naming a school after him because he deported a bunch of us.
Good for them.
So I kind of laughed and say, "Oh, there you go." See, and I've told you. I mean, all the way back a year, I was looking at some of the old videos way back a year ago when I started this Andy Falco show. I said, "Don't worry. They're coming for you. You think this is all great right now? You think this is all fun and games that you are canceling, certain aspects of news stories like the Hunter Biden laptop story. They took that off of Twitter and they canceled people that dared to post the truth about the laptop. I mean, but it's going to get them, and it very, very much does. You got the Abram, I think is her name, in Atlanta. Or at least in the Stacey Abrams, who was saying that the new law in Atlanta or the new law in Georgia, sorry, I couldn't think of the state. The new law in Georgia for voting was racist, and she was like, "It's so racist." And you can't do it.
Biden says it takes us back to the Jim Crow laws.
Yeah.
I was like,
on steroids.
What?
And she's the one who started that. But then she's a part of that community. Then the Major League Baseball takes the All-Star game out, and she goes, well, wait a minute, what are you doing? Like, now all the black businesses are going to suffer. The hundreds of millions of dollars that would have been made by having the All-Star game there is now gone. And she's going, but I didn't want you to, what? And see, this is what happens. This is what happens. We're overusing this racism card. So you were putting together an article, and is there... I read your article, by the way. It's fantastic. So I was going to try not to say anything about it, but I can't help it. It is awesome.
Sweet. Thank you.
What is is there a bigger problem that you were able to point out other than the obvious? I point out the obvious, and that's the stuff that we all see. What else do we need to know about this racism card and wokeism?
Okay. So what I'm trying to draw attention to, and this is based on my experience in researching Islamist movements around the world, is that this is part of an orchestrated campaign to destroy our civil society infrastructure. So the only way that insidious movements like communism, socialism, or Islamism take root is they need to supplant or uproot the existing structures that protect that society. So in the United States, it's our law enforcement, it's our laws and our lawmakers, and it's the majority populace. So now the alliance between the radical left and the Islamists is a very dangerous cocktail of insidious movements, because the Islamist was marginal in the United States because of all this other apparatus that was in place. But once they unite with a radical left that does have control of the administration, that does have policymakers and major corporations that back it, you have the potential to undo the fabric of the society. And I cannot stress enough, and I've seen this happen in Iran, Turkey, Pakistan, Southeast Asia, parts of Europe. It is a very dangerous threat to our way of life. And if people don't start looking at it that way, then they're going to continue to be silent. They're going to continue to be lackadaisical, meaning not caring, apathetic about this happening. And before you know it, we're either wearing burqas or following Hugo Chavez as our idol. And neither one of them is attractive, an option. Neither one of them supports American Judeo-Christian values, biblical values. And we have to stand up for those. And the Lord has told us to stand up for those. He told them if they hate you, they hated me more. If they persecute you, they persecuted me more. And we have to anticipate this battle coming and be prepared. We can't run and hide.
How much worse does it make it that we have people like Ilhan Omar?
That's the alliance between the Islamists and the radical left.
That is the action. That's now the connection.
The squad is the epitome of that alliance. And anytime if you look at the support for the BLM movement, you'll see a lot of the national Islamist organizations back it, whether it's our congressional lawmakers like Ilhan Omar or other kind of efforts around the radical left movement. You see Muslims participating in that movement, and not as individuals. They're national Islamist organizations that are backing that movement. And we need to be very, very concerned about that alliance.
And it's got to be even scarier. I hope I'm using this word, scarier that they don't even hide it.
No. Well, they don't have to because they're in control right now. So they don't have to hide it. And again, because wokeism is about respecting differences and highlighting differences, even though it's creating segregation, it's literally an attack on white America and basically saying that we are the only group that doesn't deserve protection, that every other group in the United States deserves protection and basically a platform to share their values, but we have to be silent. Right. And then it's creating instead of advancing as an American society, we're advancing as factions within the society, which is leading to more disintegration of the social fabric. It bleeds down into our children, where they're starting to notice race and ideology and fighting over political ideology. When did 12-year-olds fight over that? When in our history have 12-year-olds fought over political ideology? It's tearing us apart, which is exactly what they intend to do.
They're even changing the meanings of words. I mean, we even hear that today with the word infrastructure has now suddenly changed to mean something else.
Yes, mathematics is changing, gender is changing. All the words that, and I mean, even for the kids, we don't the gender, sexual identity. I learned today you can't use nonverbal to describe an autistic child. I don't know if April's on with us, but like my daughter's telling me we cannot use that. That's a slur. I was like, according to who? And then she flashes me this autism terminology app or website. She's like, because they said that you can't use that anymore. I was like, well, who are they? Who are they? So the parents of autistic children are not the one that decide now. The Autism Society or whatever it is the one that decides that those terms are not valid anymore. And it's a small example of a much larger problem that if we just keep retreating and tolerating it and not wanting to come out in defense of the things that we hold dear, they will take them from us. Right. And I've seen it. I've seen it in societies repeatedly through the past decades of what happens to a society when the mainstream traditional structures do not defend themselves.
And it is. And now just to go back to the definitions of things and the rules that they're deciding, they're hardly ever the people that would be affected by such words or such policy. Again, this website is probably not even created by anybody that has a family member who's autistic, right, or has mental retardation, right? It's other people deciding for them, and that's why we said, hey, I've heard April and other people that have challenged children. See, now I'm even struggling to say the name because I'm afraid I don't even know what to say.
Well, but see, that's how they silence us. That's how they silence us.
But you never hear them say it. I mean, it's even the black community. I mean, you have a.
I don't even know if you're allowed to say the word black anymore.
I don't know. I don't know either. But you have what's his name in the office, the White House, whatever his name is, saying that the Jim Crow laws in Georgia are racist and because they require a license. And I've said this multiple times. Yeah. So you're saying that black people are so stupid they can't get a license? Well, they can't, they don't hand out water. What, saying they're too stupid to bring their own water? They don't know. And it doesn't even say that. The water can be provided there. You just can't have somebody from the Republican Party there handing out water.
Partisan water.
Yeah, it's a silliness. But this whole thing is you have a bunch of white people saying what we can and can't do in regard to black people. And the black people are going, wait a minute, I can get an ID. The Mexicans are saying, I have an ID. I have an ID, and I have some Mexican in me.
Yes.
The Mexican side of my family, I'm pretty sure they all have IDs. One was a mayor of Norwalk. I know for sure he has an ID. But you have these people that are not part of the the community that are saying what you can say and what you can't say.
Or even 2 or 3 people in the community speaking on behalf of the entire community, saying, I speak on behalf of the autistic community, or I speak on behalf of the black community, and we don't want X, Y, or Z. It's like, how could you represent all black people in America or all autistic children in America? So it's a concerted effort to silence us and to undermine our institutions. It's quite dangerous.
Does she have a mentally challenged child? But again, I mean, this is kind of the thing we were doing today. Zara doesn't have a mentally challenged child.
No. Or friends.
Yeah. And we were talking about something. Oh, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Well, why
she wants an offended jar because we have a cuss jar.
That's what it was.
We have a cuss jar, and she wants us to have a insult jar for us that me and Andy will literally deposit millions of dollars into because we can't ever keep straight what's insulting and what's not.
Yeah, no. But
we're trying to get better. The cuss jar we figured out, but.
So what is your take on now these corporations getting involved, if you have one? You have them, they get scared so fast, they don't bother reading the Georgia law. I mean, these are seemingly smart people, right? They're the CEOs of companies like Coca-Cola and Delta. They get a couple tweets that say, hey, you can't have this event there, or you can't have your company do business there. And they pull the plug on a couple tweets. Yes. I mean, what the hell is going on? They sell to millions of people across the globe, but they're responding to a couple tweets, and then they respond, but they don't bother to read what is the truth? What's the truth?
Even if they read it, they're responding to social pressure. And so I have the utmost respect for Tucker. He's writing about these issues and saying it's like becoming like a corporatocracy where whether it's Google or Amazon or now Coca-Cola, they dictate what's happening in America because of their influence, financial and social influence. But I frame this as an insidious threat just because that's my paradigm for the most part, but also because if you do not describe, we've often said this in counterterrorism, if you do not accurately describe the threat, you cannot develop programs and policies to counteract it. If all of us are shooting from different angles at this bear and we don't all agree, then how effective is the movement to counteract it when it's moving in 1,000 different directions? So I just think it's important for us to have some coalescing on what exactly we're dealing with. But the worst thing we could do is call it stupid or unimportant or uncorroborated or uncoordinated, because it is clearly uncoordinated. I think Coca-Cola and Major League Baseball, everybody's got PTSD for the riots. And so they're thinking to themselves, yes, oh goodness, if I don't do something, if I don't come out proactively in support of this, my institutions will be burnt down and my employees will complain and they'll file grievance actions for discrimination. And so they're trying to get ahead of it by doing
in
this.
a panic.
And what we need to do is hold them to account. So the conservatives, and that's what the lawmakers in Georgia are doing, and that's what other companies are doing, is like Trump came out today saying you should boycott those companies.
Yep.
They need to feel the fury of mainstream. I'm calling us white America. Forget it. They're going to call us white. We're not even white, which is the funniest part. But that's why what is it called? The Hodgkin twins. They're like, I have a white privilege card. And it's like the hysterical. So we're just going to call us white people. So if us white people, they'll start standing up for our values. It's gonna continue to happen like this, where companies just willy-nilly start to boycott everything. A Georgian law on protecting the sanctity of voting is being called discriminatory.
And it's moderate compared to the other places that they seem to love, like New York.
It's literally made up.
Yeah.
It's literally an accusation entirely false. It's repeating a falsehood often enough to make it a truth. It's still not true.
That's in my
book. No
book.
matter how many times you repeat it.
In my book right here. In my Color, Communism, and Common Sense.
Yes.
Written in 1948.
That's what insidious ideologies do.
Repeat it, and it becomes the truth to some people, not smart people like us.
Exactly.
Carol calls it the ESG score, environmental, social, government score, your new credit score.
Exactly.
And I wanted to you brought up the boycotting, and actually,
I've respected your Coke boycotting. I'm buying only Pepsi products now.
And Dan Bonjoni talked about John Bonjoni. Why do I do that?
Because I think you remember the singer.
Yeah, there's another guy. Bongino. I'm glad I finally heard myself say it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I thought you were lying to me.
No.
Bongino.
Amy Feltz caught it first.
What was that? There's a singer that has a jazz artist.
Yep.
Anyway, Dan Bongino talked about it on the show today. He goes, "We have to be more like them."
Yes.
We always we just don't want to be like a bunch of weak-minded, sniffling little bitches. Sorry. That's not who we are.
Right.
But we have to do it. When you have corporations the size of Delta and Coca-Cola and Apple and Google and these types of companies, you have to do it. And again, I have been doing it for a very long time. I haven't called it a boycott. I've just suggested and said, hey, I'm not going to do that because that's what I choose. Personally, I choose. I don't have, right, and you'll test, I don't have Netflix on my Apple.
Right.
TV. I have gone to DuckDuckGo. You see me use DuckDuckGo instead of Google. And I don't have any. Have you ever seen an Amazon box in my front door?
Not unless I deliver it.
How many Amazon boxes do I see at your door?
Every day.
Okay. Now we need to stop that. I'm very proud of you. I noticed that you ordered a Pepsi yesterday, and so proud of you. I don't order any Coke products at all, and I've never liked baseball. Well, I haven't liked baseball for the last 30 years.
I boycotted baseball for sure.
Yeah.
Baseball is out.
NFL and baseball, I haven't watched them for a couple of years now. Well, baseball, not for a very long time because it just bores me to tears. I never tell you the story. I took Courtney. She was she was a brownie, and they gave the troop a bunch of tickets to go to the Angel game. And I go, and I didn't want to go either. And I've worked the Angel games, and the only way I go to Angel game is if I was getting paid, and working the dugouts. And so I took Courtney. And we're sitting there, and she's talking to little friends and stuff like that. And then and the game had started, right? And then it's like the fourth inning. And she goes, Dad, how long are we going to sit here until the game starts? And I go, well, it started about an hour and a half ago. She goes, what? What did they do? I go, well, I thought they were just playing catch, like with the ball, like you and Kelly
That's
do.
Something I would say.
Yeah. I go, no, they've been playing. She goes, can we leave?
It's an hour and a half over.
Oh, thank God. I was so happy because I didn't want to stay either. And I'm going to sit there at a boring game and pay $15 for a beer. That's not what I was into. So I just had to tell you that little bit of story. You're looking at the comment there. Which one do you want to bring up?
I'm looking at Danielle.
Can you read it?
If conservatives were as good as the liberals at pointing out how these corporations said something in the past, every corporation would be on the chopping block for saying something wrong.
Yep.
Who can keep up with the changes? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and not only that, I was saying that about President Trump too, and it had to do with him being a womanizer. That was supposedly a bad thing. I go, you ever hear about John F. Kennedy? Well, he uses bad words. Did you ever hear a recording of LBJ? Any of the things. Did you ever hear Nixon in one of his recordings? You're talking about Donald Trump's potty mouth? You got to be kidding me. Nobody would ever make it as president. Have you ever heard Joe Biden not get a word correct during a speech? It's just this. It is really crazy. But back to the corporations. So it's just time to really do what they have done and how they've, because our numbers are greater. The only problem is we have to stay strong. That is one of the weaknesses of the Republican Party, is that we just aren't as foaming at the mouth.
Well, this is what we saw in Muslim countries. And what we say is that the liberals or the traditional structures, they are not used to organizing themselves on ideological grounds to defeat an ideological foe. So they just don't.
Wait, say that again.
Traditional liberal communities, not in this sense like the radical left, liberal meaning open-minded as compared to radical Islam, are not in the habit of organizing themselves around ideological issues to defeat an ideological enemy. It's a free system. It's a capitalist free market economy. It's a freedom of speech. We're used to the diversification of views. We're used to people having a whole bunch of opinions and allowing the free marketplace of ideas to bring certain opinions and ideas to light and to success. So for us to organize ourselves into one direction is just it's antithetical to who we're about, and that's why we always traditional and liberal communities always get defeated by the extremists, by these insidious movements, because we fail to organize. So I don't know if this time's going to be any different, considering the end time prophecies that Jesus comes back to a messed up world. I don't think we're going to be any more successful. But meanwhile, we still have to fight because we have to save souls.
Well, like Islam and the radicals, they don't care how long it takes.
They don't. They're in it for a generational fight.
Yes. Democrats aren't that much different. They can stay angry and fearful and spiteful for 5 years easily. We've just seen them do it.
Yes.
But they never gave up during and I say 5 years because
and they organized.
It was
meanwhile
pre his President Trump's presidency. They were at it then. They continued it through the 4 years and into the next election, and are still saying that everything, the thing that they continue to do now is that anything that's bad, it's his fault. Anything that's good, it's Biden's success. How do you do that? As long as if it's a good thing, he did it. Right? The vaccines are now Biden's.
Yeah, we had nothing before he can't even get up a flight of stairs.
Oh love of God. The stuff at the border is Trump's fault. Wait a minute, he had it under control.
Not only under control, it was amazing.
But wow, isn't it? I mean, when you really think about how long they were able to keep that up, the problem with us is that we just want to we don't want to live in fear. Anger kills you inside, right? It's just like we
believe in a free society,
right? But that's what happens. Everything kind of gets good for just a half of a day, and we go, oh, okay, we can let up now. Yeah. We can go back to drinking Coke, and then bam, they hit us again tomorrow. But they never let up. We have this tendency to get up. I mean, to get to go. We always want to go back to being happy.
They're organized, disciplined, methodical in their approach to destroying our way of life. And I'm not talking about mainstream Democrats. I'm not talking about the usual struggle between Republicans and Democrats and liberal ideas and conservative ideas. This is the radical left, the communist, socialist influenced.
But who would have thought Nancy Pelosi and Schumer and Nadler were radical?
That's true.
And they've been in it for for decades. They've been in
power. Have they always been? Did it just happen? I couldn't answer that. But when you look at people who really, really study like efforts of the Masons and Illuminati and all of these other efforts that this is, and what families are a part of that, apparently this has been going on for a very long time. And I'd like to bring it back to the biblical values. It's demonic. This is a fight against the counterfeit kingdom of Satan against the kingdom of Christ.
Yeah. Danielle, you're my reader.
Exactly, Hedia. Conservatives believe in freedom of speech, good or bad. Exactly. We want to give them the right to say whatever they want. Yep. And it's just against our principles and everything that we hold dear to try to unite around a effort to think in a particular way, in one way, to act as a uniform body. It's just not who we are.
Yeah.
I'm foaming at the mouth, but fake book is cutting my legs off. So I talk to everyone who will listen. Crazy chick. Yeah, I hear you, Carol. So important.
You know, I got to bring this up. I'm so offended that I don't get taken out. I mean, I got a week-long YouTube, suspension for
that video about like
the My Pillow man, My Pillow guy. Oh, I just said his name. Now this is going to be canceled. He's come out with a new video. It's supposed to be great too. He continues and now shows the scientific proof that he has against this thing that happened.
Wow. That should be interesting.
Yeah, I came, but I'm not going to talk about it. But I'm offended because I put some pretty strong stuff up, and people all around me are constantly getting canceled and getting suspended.
Why don't you consider it Holy Spirit covering?
Well, maybe it is, but I also, and we talked about this the other day. And I was going to talk about this in the show. Is that remember I was talking about that I wait sometimes to make sure that it's fact filled, that I double checked my.
Because I've
facts.
never seen any of your posts with that funny looking fact finder thing on it.
Yeah. I've shared a post that ended up having it on there, but I knew for sure it was true. I did it just to make a point. I said, now that I know this is true and it has a fact thing on there. So I have shared somebody else's, but that's it's been purposeful. But yeah, I do my very best. I put it up. I may put a couple, morons and idiots and stupid people on there, but for the most part, the content is factual.
Amy.
Where?
She says at the bottom.
Oh, just because she's talking about you?
No, she's saying it's right. They're truly demonic. No, I mean, we got the other ones.
I'm just kidding.
And James George, let's get him. He says, you guys rock. Keep going.
Oh, wow.
Keep
James George.
on.
Nice to see you.
Hi. Thank you, James.
I got that one.
Yes, we got the other ones.
Just say no to the vaccine. All right. So there's and I talked about this on the devotional. I want to make sure and talk about it here, is that on Tucker Carlson's today, right? He has Tucker Carlson tonight or night. Is it tonight? That's tonight that he has in the evening. And then he has a new show called Tucker Carlson Today. And I think it's only on the Fox app, I believe. Is that where that's supposed to broadcast? Well, he did an interview of a doctor/scientist who talked about the dangers of taking the vaccine when you've had COVID.
Yes.
That it could actually do more damage to you and cause inflammation and a whole bunch of other things. What are you did a far better job of?
No, it's basically because the antibodies that your body has as a result of having COVID creates certain barriers to further infection. And so by introducing other antibodies, it flares up your autoimmune response, which is causing the inflammation. So basically these antibodies that you have from your success against COVID and the vaccine end up fighting each other and causing really bad inflammation. So anybody that has an autoimmune condition, arthritis, fibromyalgia, lupus, any of these autoimmune disorders can have very bad reactions to the vaccine if they already have COVID antibodies.
You did such a better, I would have said that thing and the other thing and the thing makes you.
I'm a pseudo doctor. Remember, my dad's a doctor, so we think we're doctors.
But it's one of those things I always thought about. I've been hesitant to even think. I didn't even think about getting the vaccine actually. But you and I both have had COVID.
Yes.
My daughter has had COVID, and other people we know have had COVID, and it is one of those things when I talked to the doctors in the hospital. He said, well, now you're pretty much just immune from this whole thing.
Well, I'm hoping because, this thing is rolling out so fast and they're catching the conditions that are the negative responses pretty quickly. I'm hoping that because all of the uproar against a vaccine passport has basically quelled that idea for a while. But I'm hoping what they're going to allow, I mean, who knows, but they're going to allow people to show either a blood test that shows they have antibodies or the vaccine, so that they will not be forcing people that have had COVID. If there's a critical mass of people that get a very dangerous inflammation response from having both, hopefully they will then accept a blood test as a.
So the antibody passport as opposed to a vaccine passport.
Yeah, or basically, yeah, either antibody or vaccine. Maybe it'll be an and or.
Well, yeah, I don't want it to be a vaccine because then it would require the vaccine.
Right.
So something that shows
And
that
or.
yeah. I'm not sure. Can you attack that one?
I had fibromyalgia and lupus for decades, and I'm 100% cured now. Hey, praise God. That's
awesome.
Amazing, Mary. We actually have a friend of ours, Andy's assistant, that was just diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Her name is Carlene. So please pray for her. If you have any good tips on defeating that, please let us know. Of course, other than the power of prayer, if you have any other specific like health recommendations, please let us know.
Yeah, awesome. Carol brings up a good point. Yellow Star.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I was wearing yellow stars for sure.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's like the movies. We watched that movie about a post-vaccine world and they had to wear wristbands.
Mm-hmm.
And, whether it's the chip that's coming in the vaccine or later the mark of the beast, they say they'll have a mark on your hand.
Yep.
That Pastor Jack went through Amazon One. If you look at Amazon One right now, which is a new technology they're unveiling, that basically it's contactless payments and identification because it's in the palm of your hand. It's reading the palm of your hand. So we're not far. The Lord told us it was coming. Yep.
I want to go back to Amy talked about that YouTube was messing with Pastor Jack over at Calvary Chapel Channels. Remember we were watching when he was showing scenes of the Passion of the Christ?
Oh, right.
And that one, I think it had to do with trademark issues.
Yeah.
Because once he stopped sharing, then it came back on again.
Yes.
We got to see the rest of the message. And that's not to say they're not messing with him. I'm sure they're throttling his message because he has some pretty strong sermons that he preaches, and they address social issues and
absolutely
political issues. And so there's no doubt that they are messing with him on some level. They were just waiting for him to do something so they could take off his message.
For sure.
9 people injected, but none have antibodies. None. Wow. 9 people you know, or 9 people that had.
What are you referring to? People that you know?
Yeah. I scrolled down. Look at see. PhD, pretty hot dude.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Yes.
Nobody wants to hear that on the nighttime show.
100%. I'm your helpmate.
You are. You're my battle buddy. Facebook definitely going to block the live stream. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yes.
9 people she knows.
9 people she knows. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, the people that are having my thought is, again, I'm not a doctor, nor do I have a PhD. That we see having the bruising that shows up after the shot,
rash, really bad rash,
which is all due to inflammation.
Exactly.
Are probably people that either had it and know it, or people that had it and didn't know it.
Exactly. I mean, even at church, the lady sitting next to her said her husband had a horrible arthritic flare-up because he did have COVID in January, went and got the vaccine, and it triggered a really bad arthritic response all over his body and all of his joints.
And how long does that last?
Exactly.
Yeah, people didn't know. Yeah. So, again, going back to Pastor Jack, he was talking about how he had the antibodies and he stood there like Superman.
Yes.
I'm antibody man.
Yes.
They had to have them to fly. Guess what? None could.
Wow. But I thought you're allowed to. We just spoke to a lady at one of these houses we went to visit, and she said that they just required them to show proof of being vaccinated at a facility they endorse. So in other words, you can't just bring a fake vaccination letter or just a letter. You had to use one of their facilities, one of their labs that would independently be able to verify that you got the vaccine. I've never heard that you had to prove you had the antibodies. That's a step further. Which actually is a lot better. It's like what you said, the antibody passport, which is you just have to prove you have antibodies and they don't care how you got them, which would be great because we have the antibodies. I don't know. Have you been tested? We got to get a blood test and see.
I know.
I would like to.
I just hate for them to know anything.
But you guys already know.
I know. I just want to be that person.
Well,
I'm changing.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to become Martyr Andy. What? No, that means I died. doesn't it?
Yeah.
Martyr. I don't want to be martyr Andy yet.
You want to be Apostle Andy?
Yes, I want to be apostle. There you go. Thank you.
Actually, me and my friends kind of like make fun of that. Like everybody wants to put a title of it. Evangelist Peter, Apostle Andy, like Preacher John. It just titles.
The company demanded it.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting times. So is there, so with all that you had to say, so what do you think the solution is? It one of them is that we have to get stronger and organized? Obviously.
We have to get stronger and organized, but barring that we get organized, I'm speaking to the Christians, to the believers here, we've got to spread the gospel. Meanwhile, this is an opportunity. People are afraid, are alone, are feeling hopeless. We have to share the good news of salvation so that people can have that same safety and security that we have, that to live as Christ, to die as gain. Okay. So if the Lord takes us, great. We go up to eternity in heaven with angels and harps and we look awesome because we're like 30 something and we've got great bodies and we're healthy and we never cry again.
Get my PhD back.
Yeah. You get your PhD. We rock. I mean, so what's the problem? Yeah. But when you don't have eternal security, then life on this planet becomes an everyday trauma. And it's difficult to live that way. I wake up a lot of days just traumatized by the thoughts in my own head. Were it not for the Lord and the peace of the Lord coming over me, I don't know where I would be today. So I just want to share that peace with the world.
Yeah. So I got, so I had a friend on Facebook. You saw the little text back and forth. He's I wouldn't say he's probably an independent,
agnostic,
or a liberal, probably liberal.
Oh, okay.
No, atheist.
Oh, he's still atheist.
He's atheist, but he's probably liberal, not liberal atheist. Gosh darn it! It was independent, right? Independent. Because he believes in because he believes in much of what the Conservative Party believes in.
A conservative independent atheist.
Yes.
Wow.
There we go. I think that's it. But even he and I can have this disagreement about this Google thing, right? Because he wanted to make it about religion. But what I was clearly, at least clearly to me, because it was my post, but clearly was trying to show.
Words. It was just.
I was clear. I was here's what Google looked like. That's all I said. Yeah. But I just wanted to show and want to make people aware that these are the little things that they do.
Yes.
Right? It's not always the big things. Like it's a big thing to cancel a Major League Baseball All-Star game. Like that's a big thing. That's obvious. Everybody can see it, and it's based on a lie. That's very clear. We can see that. But they also do the little things.
Yeah.
Right. Google is more than happy to change their logo so that it represents Black Lives Matter,
Gay Pride,
Mother's Day,
International Women's Day,
Kwanzaa. But for Easter,
no bunnies,
nothing, not even
freaking bunny ears. Amy, was it you that said that? Somebody on Amy's post was like, "Could you at least put some eggs in some freaking bunny ears?"
I think that was me.
No, it was somebody else.
Somebody copied me.
Somebody copied you,
of course. But yes, I mean the point was that this is how they do it in all these ways, right? They're really good at doing it, canceling you on Twitter, canceling you on YouTube for suspend you for saying something that they believe you shouldn't say, not because it's not true, just because they believe it's not true. And he wanted, and I just was like, no, Jay, I know you're an atheist. I know you want to make this about religion, but it's about what it is they're doing to silence a large majority or a large faction, half of the country. And this is how they do it. You don't even have to be. I mean, people that are atheists, I'm sure, celebrate Easter in some form, I would think. I don't know, Easter egg hunt or do something.
It's so interesting because as you're talking, it's occurring to me in my times in DC, especially with the rise of ISIS, homegrown violent extremism, and the threat that it posed to the United States. We had it was quarterly meetings at the DNI, the Director of National Intelligence, that included Google, YouTube, Facebook representatives, and community activists and the media, talking about how we were going to use a community-based approach to fight extremism. And now, because people, I'm sure, would wonder, how can this all be orchestrated? We orchestrated that. I mean, like the US government was responsible for facilitating those conversations. And so I was personally witness to many conversations with Google, YouTube, and Facebook representatives. Actually, some of them went from the administration into those companies, talking about them using their algorithm to decrease popular support and Twitter for the ISIS recruiters. So this ability to coalesce these groups together already exists. The Rolodex of participants already exists. And I can now imagine that that same cadre of people in our national security infrastructure are meeting now to talk about what to do with white people, us angry white people. That's the way we were described in by one commentator at an article. Angry white people.
Yep.
And that's really scary. It's really...
I mean, it's all the little things like I was talking about, like in everything you're talking about is the little bit of demoralizing that they do. You know, you can't say Christmas anymore at work because it's racist or whatever.
Yeah.
Google's not going to change their logo for specific things because they don't want people. And again, the thing is that they're so huge, right? If they were just a little tiny little company, nobody would really care. I talked about a mom and pop bookstore. If a mom and pop bookstore just wanted to have Christian books and ban the devil books, and the devil books wanted to ban the Christian book, nobody would care, right? It's just literally, they know, well, we're not going to go to the devil bookstore because we don't believe in the devil. But when you're as big as Amazon, for instance, as I used in my example, is that they're no longer a mom and pop store. They control the sales of books worldwide. And you cannot, as that company, that's what they did. They did it to themselves. They created themselves to such a big place that they no longer have that option of deciding what can be sold and what not can be sold, because then it becomes, destroying freedom of speech. And it becomes book burning in a sense. And
that's what Tucker says, that we're moving to a corporatocracy where the big corporations control us. But I want to bring that back to the fact that this all may be centrally managed by the Biden administration, because that conversation with Coca-Cola or with Google and with Amazon can be occurring, because usually Coke is not talking to Google. Like, you know, there's not like necessarily daily conversations between YouTube, Twitter, Google, and Coke. You know what I mean? But those conversations are often facilitated by the U.S. government. And in this case, it's the Biden administration.
Yeah. And in most cases, it's behind closed doors. But he was on something, being interviewed, and told Major League Baseball that that would be the right thing to do, is to move the All-Star game. And not maybe not in those words, but essentially told them that it was they would do the right thing.
I mean, based on what I see being published by commentators, counterterrorism experts that are now talking about the white supremacist threat, I suspect those conversations are not even, the doors are not closed that hard. In other words, there's when the ones I were in, there's anywhere between 200 and 500 people there, and they're from all walks of life. So they're not super secret. It's not like they're down in a bunker. There is a very real conversation occurring about what to do with this white threat.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we could go on. I just think about now about the military bases where they've built all these tents to house the thousands of illegal immigrants, and they won't tell you how many people are in them. They won't tell you, who's running them. They try to tell you the military is not running them. But how are you on a military base and the military doesn't have in some aspect of running it? How is that? It's impossible. It's impossible. And this is happening in our government. We, the people, put them in that position. We have a right to know how many illegal immigrants are in that tent. They're hiding it from us. They won't let the press in there. They won't tell us anything. And they're saying that it's not happening. They're telling us it's not happening. And then the cameras are in there. I forget, it was at Cruz. Cruz was in there with a camera, and the lady's trying to put her face in front of the camera. Like, oh, hey, have some respect for these people that we have wrapped up like burritos. You cannot see the burrito people. You gotta give them some respect. Like, you're putting them in these little things that look like little wrapped up burritos. You want me to give them respect? You little shit. Sorry. Oh, I wanted to punch her in the face, and I don't hit women.
And putting immigrants in tinfoil to look like burritos. Isn't that racist? Yeah. Is that a stereotype? I
don't know. They look like little carne asada burritos with their little feet dangling out. I just saw an article. They're having sex. No. I put it up. I posted it that they're
under the saran wrap.
Yes. Yeah, they're making little burritos. They're sitting there boinking each other underneath those things. What else you're sitting there touching the person next to you, and you're just like going, hey, you mind?
Nothing else to do.
No, you mind if I slip this in?
Look at what Carl said.
What did he say?
Pay the fine jar. So the kids buy all their gifts through that cuss jar.
Yeah, you got the little taquitos over here. Hey, taquitos. the street tacos. Street tacos over here. Taquitos over here.
Want nothing to do with you.
Oh my gosh. I'm Mexican. I can say this crap. Just shut up, whoever you, not you people, not my friends, the other people that are like, pay the jar. They look like little burritos. I'm not making stuff up.
He said pay the jar because of the SHIT comment, not because
I
of the
thought
burritos.
because of the racism jar or whatever.
Oh, maybe we'd own both jars, Carl. Because that was full-blown racist.
They're blinking. They're blinking right next to each other. Like they're there for days, rubbing up against each other underneath those little.
I don't care if they're Mexican or they're white; they'd end up boinking each other under those blankets because they're bored.
You know what happens?
Bored people boink.
You know what happens with us Mexicans? We have lots of kids. Lots, like little rabbits.
Oh my god! Are you saying Mexicans have no family values? Oh my, that's super racist.
No, it's a pull out the thing. I was taught. I actually my first marriage, we were married as Catholics. We had to go to this class. And you couldn't use any kind of contraception, and you had to. They taught us how to use the temperature and the calendar. Like you can only.
Did it work? No.
Well, we had Courtney.
Yeah. It worked real well.
Like, dang it! It was a little, what's your temperature? Quick, what's your temperature?
It was 100.
Get the calendar. We had the temperature, the calendar, and we're trying to have a good time. Yeah, it's hard to have a good time with a calendar and a thermometer.
It depends on where you put the thermometer.
Dale, cabrón. Híjole.
Wait, I just want to know. So you saying that white people in those tents wouldn't be boinking?
No.
Really?
You know the Hispanic. You couldn't resist. You couldn't resist all of this.
What explains all the children? I did. I did resist.
Well, only because I allowed you to resist.
Yeah, there we go.
I held back. I held back some of my salsa.
You threw your salsa all over me. I don't want to get off. Oh my God. Oh goodness. Jesus, forgive us.
Oh Lord.
Yes, it's definitely going to be censored. I think it was for adult
Lord.
content, Amy.
Oh, please, Lord. This is not the devotional. Just so you know, if you got here by accident, we're so sorry. Oh, I can't believe you said that.
I said nothing. I just criticized you for saying
just
it.
Talked about what? I'm gonna play back the last part of this video, and you're gonna be. You're gonna do this
I'm allowed to talk about myself, but not about other racial communities and blankets.
Yes. Oh, okay. Let's get back to the business here. Adam says, go ahead and read it.
The word racism is losing its meaning. Liberals definition of racism. If I don't agree with you and you offend me with logic, I'm going to call you racist.
Absolutely.
It's sad.
Yes,
I have that argument actually with my own daughter, where certain words that she wants to use are okay, and the words I want to use, I'm not allowed to use those anymore. They're racist. And it's literally arbitrary. It literally is made up on the fly. And it's basically a tool to silence us. They want us to be afraid to speak.
Yeah. I am sometimes.
It is. And it's worked.
Yeah.
It's worked.
I kind of stay silent.
So, I mean, I turned in my article today and I wrote to my editor, I was like, this is a little edgy. And I don't know how you're going to feel about it. But God bless them, up until now, they've given me pretty much free reign. But we'll see. It's to call it out. It's controversial. People don't want to do it.
You didn't call the Mexicans in the plastic cages burritos, did
no.
you?
That's a bridge too far.
All right.
It is a bridge too far.
I said they look. I didn't say I said they look like.
No, but I think when you say
it's in the article.
But it has nothing to do with Mexican or being wrapped like a burrito. Because I think any people, I mean, I told you my own experience. I was on our embassy compound in Afghanistan, and come 9:00, we lived in these trailers. We each had individual trailers because the compound wasn't properly built yet, 2004. And there's 300 Marines on the base with us. Oh, Lord. At 9:00 at night, those Marines kept banging on our trailers like, come on, it's time to party. It scared the daylights out of me. And they were of all nationalities and races. So I think bored individuals in a hostile environment tend to look, especially male and female mixed, tend to resort to
boinking.
There's usually a lot of alcohol involved and boinking.
Did any of the trailers have, if this trailer's rocking, don't bother knocking?
I'm sure that was an unspoken rule. I just would never leave mine at night. I never left my trailer at night.
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, see? I could have been married to a jarhead right now.
Oh, what?
The Lord protected me. Even then.
We loved jarheads. Where are we at? Sorry, I had to look and see.
Sorry, Carol. Sticks and stones can break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That is not the rule anymore, sister. I got to tell you. As Amy said, Carol, that's racist. Oh. What is saying sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me?
It is.
Our world is upside down, folks.
All right, so no more Amazon for you.
I'm not committing to that. I can't.
How about less Amazon?
I could try less.
Can you try going to some of the websites of the companies and not?
I could try reducing my dependency on Amazon.
I'll go to the store for you. I just go to the store 3 or 5 times a day.
I have obscure needs. Like that wonderful foot oil I bought that he loves, by the way. He's like, where'd you get this? And I just looked at him and he's like, Amazon, right? And I was like, yeah.
We can get that. We can get that at the Love store down the street.
The Greek magic foot cream? No.
The Love store in Brea doesn't have.
No. This is a very special product made in Greece. Yes.
Well, of course it's made in Greece because it's oil.
Yeah, but I'm not going to find the same thing somewhere else. I suppose we could try, but it's all these kind of amazing things.
All right. Well, let's just bring it down a little bit. Let's just not give them so much of your money.
I'll try.
But you've stopped Coke?
I've stopped Coke.
Good. You still have Netflix?
I don't use it. Your kids use it.
How can they use it? I don't have it. They use yours.
And you know that. So don't try to deny it. I'm not paying for it.
I'm not paying for it.
You're not paying. Well,
my conscience is clear.
Really, we are paying for it. So you may not be paying for it.
No more Major League Baseball. None. No Major League Baseball. No NFL.
Okay.
No NFL.
No NFL. Oof.
Wow, I can't give up hockey. I mean, I don't watch it now. I haven't watched it in a long time. I will go to a game. I will go to a game.
See how you feel about hockey? That's how I feel about Amazon.
But they've not done it yet. They've been good.
Imagine they were there. So when you give up hockey, I'll give up Amazon.
If they do something like that, if they cancel their All-Star game based on a bill or a law. No, they haven't done any of that stuff.
Okay. So we'll leave
they did a little bit of Black Lives Matter kind of thing that did upset me a little bit. So that's why I'm not watching them on TV, but I will go to a game.
Okay.
I love the sport a lot. And if they do that, I will quit.
I'm going to send Priscilla the link for my foot oil. And Carol seconds the Amazon idea because she gets vitamins from there with no dyes and preservatives. It's these,
but you can get them from the company that makes the vitamins with no dyes or preservatives. You can go there
and pay like $50 for shipping for a $10 bottle of vitamins.
That's the sacrifice you make for democracy. For our republic.
I don't know, folks. I mean, I make a whole lot of sacrifices for this republic. So I think
Are you racist? Are you racist?
Am I racist? No.
Well, that's what they're calling you. That's what Amazon's calling you, racist.
Because I'm a white
supremacist.
Because I'm a white supremacist. Yeah. That's the funniest thing of all time. So I'm a white supremacist. I love that. You know what? I actually think I'm going to get a t-shirt that says white power on it. Because I just think it's so ludicrous that I'm now a white person. I mean, my daughter calls me a white person. When she looks at me and Andy got matching cups, one with an A and one with an H, coffee cups. She's like, oh my God, white people. And I was like, how did the Mexican and the Persian become white people? It's hysterical.
Because we have matching cups?
Because we have matching cups. Oh, these guys, crazy white people.
Orale. Maybe somebody leave you alone.
Yeah, see that? Because you're harassing me about Amazon. Yeah, we've got to do some badge of honor. What? Amazon or the matching cups or white power?
I think the white accusation or the racist accusation.
And see,
I could give up Amazon. What?
I mean, it's a lifeline.
What did you do before Amazon?
I don't know. So long ago, I was a baby.
You survived without it then. You can survive without it now.
This is coming from the guy who tells his kids, go outside and play. No electronics. Yeah, I know.
Outside and play.
You're very old school.
They got to go out and play, jump on trampoline, build a fort with some sticks, make a boat out of a popsicle and let it float down the gutter.
You're such a dinosaur. Yes. Okay.
They do it.
I know.
They run out in the rain in their shorts.
To death of you.
Well, good. They need to be. Go ahead, read that.
Adam, what irks me is the left saying cops are racist, which is pathetic. As a brown man, if I'm stopped by the police, I will cooperate. It's stupid to fight with the police if you have nothing to hide. Exactly.
Thank you.
Most of the time, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear from the police either.
I cannot tell you, as a police officer of 21 years, is that, you have a few of these people that as soon as you start talking to them, they go, "You motherfucker, you can't talk. Why are you harassing me?" And I go, "Oh, hey, listen.
You just ran the light."
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that your belt's hanging out of your door, right? But they get like all crazy so quickly. But there's so many. I say the majority of people are like, "Sorry, officer, what did I do?" And we're so nice. And then you have the girls that cry right away. And they think if they cry, you're not going to give a ticket. You cry, you're getting a ticket. Because they're the ones. Yeah, so you got to do that.
So Danielle has a compromise. There are small businesses that operate through Amazon's platform. True. Definitely avoid the Amazon products, which I do. I do not buy Amazon products. Besides the fact that they're crappy. I'm trying to support small businesses through Amazon.
You get in that car and you drive to a small business and go through the door.
With a mask?
There is that. You got me there. You got me there. But there's some that don't have us wear a mask on occasion, like, there's places.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mostly in Arizona.
Priscilla's defending you and kids playing outside. So
Thank you.
My theory on the kids playing outside is if we're a dying breed, eventually no kids will play outside. The way technology is moving and society is moving, everything is becoming virtual. And so we're trying to maintain a system that's archaic. That's just my philosophy on it. I know people talk about screen time and all the rest of it, but their entire lives will be based on a screen. They'll be able
to growing horns in their spine.
Their bodies will adapt.
They're gonna not, there's outdoor time.
I get it.
Vitamin D from the sun.
I get it.
Being creative, coming up with games. That was the thing I tell them all the time. I said, be creative, come up with a game, figure out something to do. Have an imagination.
I hear you.
They got the chalks out there that sometimes they go and draw on the sidewalk or on the driveway.
But it's a dying concept.
They're climbing trees. My son climbed on the roof yesterday and got stuck. It's all good stuff. Did he not? And he had to figure out how to get off the roof.
It's very cute, but just know that
it's not cute. It's mandatory.
It's an archaic system.
It is not archaic.
Eventually, all kids, their technology leads them to they're doing
our
school
first
online.
Our first argument.
I'm just telling you about where society is going. I'm not saying I like it. I like your system. It's just it's just going to be archaic soon. It's just like assisting keeping a rotary dial phone.
Or not having a dishwasher.
Yes, it actually goes to the you're not having a dishwasher.
Well, they know how to wash dishes. They know how to use the washing machine.
A washing machine. It's a washing machine.
Well,
that's an electronic.
We don't have a river. If we had a river, I'd make them wash the clothes at the river. If we had one. Can we move to a place that has a river and we'll make them wash the clothes on the river?
You can move to the place that has a river. Me and Zara will stay with the washing machine and the dishwasher. You can come visit. We'll send you love notes. I'll be your pen pal.
They need to know how to do that stuff and do it on a fairly regular basis. I think it's important.
No substitute for nature. I know you guys are all part of a system. It's just vintage. It's vintage. Eventually, none of our kids will play outside. No, I hear you. It's a great idea. But it's just an ancient system. Yeah, she's right. You're right. I'm not denying that it's right.
I love it. I'm just saying I'm right. I love it.
You're always right.
You are amazing.
Even when you're wrong, you're right. But in this instance, you are absolutely 100% right. I'm just saying that the system's dying of its own death.
I hear you. I'm not going to let it die here, though.
In this house.
I am the king of my castle.
You are.
Oh my gosh, I love you. All right, my friends. Anything else? I mean, we talked about we just got to get stronger. We have to get organized. We do have to boycott. I have to add that to my vocabulary. I've always refrained from doing that. I like boycotts. So I like to buy from the people
Both
that are supportive of
boycott
it.
and boycott.
So we have Goya like coming out of my ears inside the cupboard here. We got My Pillow that we sleep on every night, and we need to get some more My Pillow stuff.
Yes, and also right. Whether it's on Facebook or there's Medium, there's websites where you can publish articles on your own.
Oh,
right.
Yep.
Speak.
Yep.
Talk to your neighbors. To be outspoken. Call your Congress people. Yep. Complain about laws.
And again, we talked about this before, but this is really appropriate for this because in case there's somebody that hasn't watched any of the other shows, is that get involved in your school board. Get involved in the school board. We've had great success on the school board. I just saw another story on Fox today about these other people that are getting involved with the social justice stuff. It was a father and a mother. And she goes, I'm Mexican, and my kids have never come home from school being told me they've been called beaner, or they've never been called anything from like some race. We've never had that discussion. They come home happy. They enjoy their friends. They have a really good time. She goes, I have no idea what people are talking about. My kids are as Hispanic as you can get, and they're never coming home sad because somebody was mean to them because they were Mexican.
I actually went through that. I actually was severely bullied for my ethnicity. But that doesn't mean I say that America is systematically racist. I think there are racist
Those kids
people
that did it are racist.
Yeah, exactly. There's some racist kids.
And their parents raised horrible children.
Exactly. And mean children. And but, I don't think that our system continues to institutionalize racism. And I think that's the difference.
Okay, let's look at
Amy. So she says, I can support small business through Amazon, and you will continue to have the kids play outside. Amen. That's a very happy compromise.
What is she, our mediator?
They're our friends. They're our accountability partners. Carl was talking about El Rey, which I presume is an inside joke between the two of you.
There's a Mexican restaurant in Anaheim called El Rey. I'm not sure if that's what he's talking about.
Okay. And Danielle saying that Amazon is about to face backlash because they don't let employees go to the bathroom if it's not their break time. They're fighting unionization. Yeah, see, is obscure, bizarre practices that people with a tremendous amount of power can do to other people. And I'm sure they have slave labor shops in Philippines too, where 7-year-olds are working, but nobody talks about that either.
Carol was bullied by I
don't know.
I was hoping you had answered. Let's see.
I don't.
What's Adam say?
I think it's quite sad that people look at you with such disgust if you walk in public without wearing a stupid diaper on your face. I just laugh it off, and we don't exercise our rights. We lose them. Yes, I was actually in the mall the other day, and the mall cop, I was holding a drink, and I pulled down my mask, and the mall cop looked at me and goes,
get your drink and do it.
I was like this. And the mall cop was like, ma'am, you're not allowed to drink that outside the food court. Please put your mask back on. I looked at him and I said, uh-huh. I kept walking. My daughter was like, Mom!
Was he on the little thing?
No, he would have chased me down otherwise. I know.
He like leaned forward. Right? Ma'am.
Exactly.
You just keep walking.
Keep running. Outrun him.
Because you run like a gazelle.
Exactly.
Oh man, if you ever seen her run, just like.
But it's only about 100 feet.
Oh, it's amazing.
I get tired.
Amy's our mediator. Cindy, hey guys, just came on. Blessings. Oh, you've missed so much, Cindy. So let's start from the beginning. All right. So I came on. We started talking about race.
Cindy, it's too long and drawn out, but we're glad to see you. And
Hedia started calling the Mexicans that are in the plastic cages burritos because they're wrapped up in those silver things, like the burritos we get from El Pueblito. And the taquitos are in that corner. The street tacos are in this corner.
Telling the burritos to stay away from the taquitos.
And the burritos are sticking their taquitos. And the other burritos, it's a mess. Making little carne asada street tacos. Hey, there's a whole story happening right there.
Oh, Cindy found it amusing. Cindy, yes, it was bad. It was vulgar.
Remember the guy we saw that actually had a diaper on his face? Where was that? Was that in Arizona? I think was that where we saw the guy with the diaper on his face?
Or was it at the school board meeting?
Oh, that guy had
an underwear on his face.
His underwear on his face. Speaking at the school board, now that was funny. I'm not sure if it's sometimes doing that takes away from your message. That's all I'm saying. I mean, he had a really good message.
Made a point,
but he had his diaper. I mean, no, men's underwear hanging from his face with a little skid mark. Oddly enough, it was not pretty. Okay, you said you were the king
of the casa, El Rey, Spanish for king.
I know.
If he knew Spanish, you want to know that.
You've heard the entire amount of Spanish that I know.
Burrito?
All tonight.
Taquito.
Street taco.
Every time I introduce Andy to Mexican friends of my family, because we have some very close Mexican friends, actually, I'm just terrified they're going to start to speak Spanish to him. Then he just stand there and go, burrito?
What kind of accent was that? It sounds like an Indian accent, an Indian saying burrito. Hello, we give you the burrito now.
And then he
that was actually Spanish.
What about that? Orale cabron. And chupa something my verga. And I'm like, oh my God, please.
No, you didn't just say that.
I told you to stop saying that expression because I know there's bad words in it.
Oh my gosh. Do not say that.
Yeah, that's the extent of Andy's Spanish.
Yeah, Carl knows more Spanish than I do.
Yes. I don't doubt that.
I told you the story about a guy named Harvey. He's now like a captain or assistant.
Yes, he was
chief of
fluent.
Police. Yeah, blonde hair. He had a surfboard on his VW van that he drove to work every day. He was my translator to speak to Mexicans. He's like, Officer, his last name was Harvey. Officer Harvey, respond to 3K3's location. He needs a Spanish translator. I almost said Mexican translator. A Spanish translator. And so here is this guy, blonde hair, blue eyes, surfer guy, suntan. He takes off his glasses and he's got these glasses, suntan. Mark, yeah. And hola, ¿cómo está usted? Bien, y tú? I love obra. Then I go, how do you do that? I took 5 years of Spanish and I know burrito.
Burrito, carne asada. And he gets mad if I don't say it with the right accent.
Okay, we got to get off this. How are we going to end this? So.
I don't know. Coconut. Yeah.
I like how we did this whole show and at the end. We said probably the most racist things.
Cancel racism is by the
okay. We are not racist.
Okay,
so
this is what I told my daughter.
Yes,
being racist means that you believe one race is superior to another by virtue of its race. It does not mean you poke fun or you make jokes of your race or another race. Like we used to be able to do that.
Yes,
we used to be able to call each other like racial names because we knew we were joking with one another. It didn't mean that we thought less of that person or that we thought we were better because they were a different race than we were. But now just poking fun at stereotypes is considered racist.
Some of the best comedians, Don Rickles.
Yeah, I don't even think there's comedy anymore.
No.
I mean, what would they be able to tell jokes about?
Nothing.
Everything.
I mean, you might go back and watch an Eddie Murphy when he was wearing his red, leather pants and listen to those skits that he did. I mean, it's just
and
really.
Jemima. This goes back to Mr.
Archie
Potato
Bunker.
Head.
Yeah.
They're all gone. They're all canceled.
All right, Cindy, you came on just in time for we rehashed our
little bit. That was a little summary.
That was a little something for you. All right, my love. How should we end this? What little bit of
I think that's it.
Positive.
Oh, the positive message is Jesus Christ is coming back. And then we have the free gift of salvation.
And he rose again.
Yeah, use the power of the microphone and whatever other tools you have to spread the gospel in this time of fear and trepidation and doom and gloom, because we have the ultimate joy.
Yep.
And that's love of Christ.
And see, I mean, I think God is fine with us at nighttime, even at night.
We'll know, because otherwise he's going to strike us with lightning.
But we're just enjoy life. I mean, again, the Bible is full of times where he was a smart ass to somebody and he got mad. I mean, he had all the emotions and he was funny. He said, hey, dummy, like you have a whole freaking log in your eyeball. Like he's such an idiot. He just didn't use the word idiot. Right. And so we can have these senses, we can have these discussions, and it's not meant to say that we're better than anybody else. Obviously, my last name's Jimenez, and I
still can't even say that last name. I'm going with Falco. I don't know who agrees with me, but the Jiminy Cricket last name. I don't know if I can do that.
Jiminy Cricket,
Jimenez.
Oh my gosh!
He used to refer to himself as Jimenez.
Yes,
and I just don't. I don't want to be harassed.
But God loves us, and He loves our humor, I think. And we're, again, it's not meant to hurt anybody or anything like that. Not like
never
calling somebody a racist. I think what they're doing to us, calling us racist, is far worse than having a good sense of humor about ethnicities and how people are just different. And there's fun ways of talking about it, about the differences.
Yeah, Andy told me the other day, don't you eat goat head? Isn't that a delicacy where you're from? Again, with the Arab mixing of Persians. Persians don't eat goat heads.
They don't?
No, we don't eat camels.
I
We
saw
don't
that
eat
in a
goats.
movie.
You saw it in Arabs. Persians are not Arabs. But, that's...
And you don't eat falafel?
We don't eat falafel.
What about the grape thing wrapped around the rice thing?
Dolma. But
Dolma?
the Persian dolma is very different than the Arab dolma.
How can I keep this stuff straight? So I just thought for a second.
You will never keep it straight. So I am resolved for you to think I'm a camel jockey.
I was just hoping I could go to the Persian store and get a goat head and you would prepare it because I like goat.
Because, of course, the Persian would know how to make a goat head.
You don't?
No. I've never eaten a goat head.
I don't know. Disappointed. This whole time I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Nasir. Hopefully we haven't offended Nasir, the 14-year-old ex-Muslim.
Yes.
What does he say?
America has come a long way against racism. It does exist, but it isn't as bad as people think. It isn't. I think Black Lives Matter is racist because the left ignores black on black homicide.
Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely.
Amen, Nasir. Nasir, I still don't believe he's 14.
Comes up with these one-line zingers. Very well-informed 14-year-old.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nasir, do you go outside and hang out outside or do you stay in front of a screen all day long? I bet you he's the kind of kid. He probably goes out and rides, scooter, bicycle, skateboard.
Let's see. Answer that question for us, Nasir.
Yeah, we're going to have to stay on just a little bit longer to see.
And Priscilla agrees with the last name, Falco. It's kind of menacing. I like it. It sounds kind of serious and Falco. But Jimenez? It reminds me of the little cartoon character. Jiminy Cricket.
Oh.
Remember the little cartoon character, Jiminy Cricket? I don't want to be named after a cartoon character. That's so wrong. I had to be ridiculed my whole life.
When I was a kid, I was called Jimmy Cricket. I mean, how do you know this?
I know,
and
but
it's not even close. They said, "Hey, Jiminy Cricket, get over here." And I go, "How do you? Do I like a Jiminy Cricket?"
Yeah, but I don't want to get harassed. I finally get to have
Carol
an
says
American-sounded name.
She said you should be Hedia Jimenez. That's what I think. Hedia Jimenez.
She says no Jimenez.
She says no. Pause.
No,
Jimenez.
I don't see a comma there, so I don't know what you're talking about.
That's like pulling somebody over for making an illegal U-turn, and then you stop them and say, "Well, I thought the side said no U-turn."
Wow.
And I said, "No,
so
it says no U-turn.
No U-turn.
No U-turn. No U-turn here." He goes, "Well, no, it said no U-turn." So she said, "No Jimenez."
Oh, okay.
Hedia Jimenez.
See, Nasir says he goes outside and rides a bike with operative word being my dad, because his dad's a cop,
yes,
like you, and that's why he goes outside.
Way to go, Nasir.
He's got another.
Oh, actually, way to go, Nasir's dad.
Yeah, because he's got another serious as a heart attack father who's like, I said go outside.
14-year-old.
Is it better to be feared or
outside.
loved? That's all I'm asking.
Respected.
Feared.
You're forgetting
or
respected. Respect.
Yeah. Well,
respect.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is another show. I think it's another show.
Do we fear God?
Absolutely.
How is fear defined in the Bible? Is it actually like afraid? Or is it
awe?
Yes.
Awe. Oh, is that what you're trying to inspire?
Yes. I want you to have that same.
I have that awe, but it's not because you threatened me. Haha.
Right.
Very good example.
Look, see? Oops. True, Andy. No. Jimenez. Hedia Jimenez.
See, it doesn't even roll off the tongue. It's a
respect Jimenez.
Reverence. See, Cindy saying yes, reverence. Yeah. But how does that come? How do you get respect? I don't think that I know my relationship with the Lord is definitely a sense of awe and reverence, but it didn't come because I was afraid he was going to beat me.
Do you think my children or family to beat them?
Well,
have you seen them?
Not beat.
They jump on my back when I'm walking down the hallway.
Beat, but I don't know.
No, they'll be in trouble. I mean, there's discipline and there's reward. They get a lot of reward and they get some discipline when they don't do the things that they're supposed to do. But I don't wait. There's no hesitation. There's no second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chance. I don't allow them to give me a roll eye. I don't allow eyes being rolled. I don't allow them to do disrespectful things to me.
You may notice this difference in parenting styles. I think that's another show.
Yeah. They roll their eyes. I lay into them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that leads to reverence.
It leads to fear.
No, it does not.
Fear.
My kids do not fear me. They've never peed their pants when I gone up and hugged them.
That's terror. That's
no,
terror.
they'll be back.
Yeah, of course.
They love me.
They love you.
Yes.
Because he is holy and creator of all. Amen, Cindy.
Thank you. And so is God. Oh, I thought she was talking to me. I know. I'm just kidding. God knows I'm kidding.
Okay,
all right.
We
got to get off of it.
Yeah,
it's an hour and 15 minutes we've been entertaining these folks.
Way too much of your time. Thank you for joining us.
Numbers aren't going down. All right. So you need to get us out of here. What are we going to end on? Hey, how about if we pray for everybody? Let's just bring us back and just ask God to forgive us a little bit. And you lead us.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you for this time together with dear friends. And we ask that you order our steps, anoint our way as sons and daughters of your gospel and of your Son, whose blood was shed for our salvation, our redemption, and our resurrection. We are resurrected with the righteousness of Christ, and allow us to be living examples of that. May we do your work on the earth, and may we bring your sons and daughters back to you. Thank you, Lord. We love you. We worship you. And it's in your Son's holy name, Jesus, that we pray. Amen.
Nice. All right. Let's see before we leave.
Respect is earned by how you carry yourself and by your actions. That's what my dad taught me as a little kid. Amen.
Nice. That's a great thing to end on. Thank you, Nasir. We really appreciate you and appreciate all of our friends and some of the names that are new to our show.
Yes.
We're so happy to see you. Make sure and share, subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube by chance, make sure and subscribe and hit the little bell. That way you'll be notified when we go live. That would be amazing. That helps us if you do that. All right. You just go to theandyfalcoshow.com and that'll lead you to the YouTube channel if you don't know where that's at. All right. That's it. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you. God bless. Have a great evening.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.